Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of Pastor Mike's Quick Shots. We are on episode 190. We are moving forward into some biblical teaching and truths that we can hold on to here in the month of June. I am Pastor Michael Mitchell. I am faithfully and I get the privilege of serving Jesus at Maplewood Methodist Church and Cornerstone Fellowship of DeGraff. And I am grateful that you're here. And I hope that you'll stick through this video. I hope that you'll listen to or watch it all, put it on play. Maybe I should turn this into a podcast at some point so that people can just listen to it while they're on their drives. Whatever. I could go back and man, we could have an episode a day for like 100 days at least, right? But I'm glad that you're here. I talked a lot this Sunday about not being destroyed. We went through Paul in 2 Corinthians, and we talked about what it means for us to have victory, to live in that victory, and to not be destroyed. It was great. It was a great combination of biblical truth and communion, Holy Communion taking at the time, because when we identify ourselves as followers of Jesus Christ, we should be the ones that are empowered and moved to do great things, to love others beyond the ways in which we love ourselves, and to love God with our actions in our lives. This is demonstrated when we stop living in this fear and doubt, we stop living defeated lives, and we begin to live glorious, fulfilled, and purposeful lives. The thing that we want is we want that glorious, fulfilled, purposeful life, but we want it without trouble. Unfortunately for us, trouble is all that this world is good for. It is going to give us one thing after another, and it is going to be our response to those troubles in our lives as to whether or not we are going to make it, whether or not we are going to be empowered by it, and whether or not we can do it successfully and live well within it. Yesterday, we got a new dog. My dog, Jake, who I had a really special bond with, he passed away just a little over a year ago. It was May 10th, 2023, when Jake finally lost his eyesight, finally succumbed to whatever was happening with his pancreas, and we had to say goodbye. We've struggled, and I don't know if my family feels the same way I do, but it was almost like there was this little hole, this little space within my life that even though I know the truth and that God fills all of those spaces and he makes all those things possible, it was really strange because this miracle dog appeared and he's been great. We took him home Sunday after church, and he's been amazing. And I think about the response that it should have had in me, but yesterday was chaos. For a year, we haven't had to deal with a dog in the house and all the things that go on in our house. Excuse me. And so it was chaotic, and I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling too much. And I wasn't getting the joy and the happiness from this that I expected. And see, what I forgot in the middle of that is that God doesn't give us things and stuff to make us feel better. The dog itself isn't what makes me feel better. The lack of turmoil and trouble with that dog is not what makes me feel better. God, in the presence of a living creature, and walking with me through the turmoil and the trouble, that's what makes me feel better. I was reminded of Luke 9, verses 23 and 24. And this is what Jesus says about this. And then he said to the crowd, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross daily, and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. In response to that, what does that mean? Jesus is telling us that life is hard. And if you want to have the good stuff, if you really want the real, true eternal life, power of victory in Jesus Christ, then it's going to take trouble. You are going to have to pick up a cross. You are going to have to bear it for others. You are going to have turmoil and trouble, and you and I are going to need to be better at relying on him and trusting him in every minute of every day, through the trouble or through the good. One of the sermons I caught in response to this comes from Gary L. Carver, called Back to the Future. And I want you to hear this. It is our responsibility as Christians to see that others know about Jesus and understand about him as much as possible. We know the future belongs to Jesus. We know he will be victorious. Sometimes it doesn't seem that way. There are troubles, problems, temptations, worries, anxieties, conflicts, and hostilities. And we say, victory? Just as God encouraged Jesus, it is our business to encourage others. See, it almost leads us right into this next week, where we need each other for that encouragement. We need each other to remind ourselves of the hope. I remember my friend Aaron basically prayed me through seminary and through course of study. She would always go for a run or a walk or a jog or whatever, and would pray. And every so often, she would just feel this urge and this nudge to pray for me. And I don't know that she even understands how powerful that was, but that encouragement and just sharing, hey, I prayed for you. I don't know what was happening that day, but I prayed for you. That is perfect encouragement. That helps us through the times of troubles. That helps us through the times when we don't think we can. That's why we need each other. We need each other to express that victory so that we can see it, we can hear it, and we can feel it. Another one recently for me was Dee Dee. I've felt ineffective, that I wasn't being the pastor that I was supposed to be, that I was falling short of my own marks that I was setting for myself. And so Dee Dee reminded me that I was everything that God needed me to be, that I was anointed, that I was everything. She stopped me in my tracks, stopped me in my sentence, and prayed over me right there. That following Sunday, we had people coming to the altar in groves, and people were being saved by Jesus Christ. It's almost like he said, listen, this isn't easy. This is hard and this is difficult, but I am Jesus Christ, and I can help you, and I can give you the strength when you don't have it to do what you need to do. I love Paul going on in 2 Corinthians 2:14. But thank God, he has made us his captives and continues to lead us along Christ's triumphal procession. And now he uses us to spread the knowledge of Christ everywhere like a sweet perfume. God leads us to victory. And as long as we can get out of the way, he'll show up in us and be a sweet perfume. And I don't know about what your interactions online might be, or do I care about how you're going to vote, but I care about whether or not your life looks like Jesus, and whether or not it looks like and smells like a sweet perfume to those that are around you. Because that's the true strength. When we are going through things and we are going through turmoils, we are reminded of our victory, and our lives look different. We face trials differently than normal people. We face struggles differently, and it shows. It comes out like a sweet aroma to people. James Merritt, another one of my favorites to read. I love his sermons. The Thrill of Victory. He says, God always leads us to victory. Even in the face of the greatest adversity, we know that we will eventually make a safe landing. The problem is, too many Christians are living beneath their privilege, slumping in defeat when they should be soaring in victory. I want to talk to you about what some would call the victorious Christian life, but I call the normal Christian life. Because victory for the Christian is not abnormal, it is normal. If you are not living in victory, your life is subnormal. It's easy for us to say those words and it's easy for us to say these things, but I know that there's turmoil and trouble. And I know, friends, that there's things that we are facing today that seem insurmountable. It seems like it's too much. We can't face it, we can't do it. And yet there are other brothers and sisters, other followers of Christ who want to help us, and we deny that help. Don't deny other people's blessings in your lives. Let them be a part of it so that you can shine on each other and reflect that light and darkness for each other. It really works and it really helps. When we have ability to see the victory in someone else, the victory can then show up for us, and then we can shine that victory for someone else. In Deuteronomy 20, verse 4, we go back to the Old Testament. We go back to these people who are struggling for community. They've just been brought out of slavery in Egypt. They're trying to find their way and their purpose. And God in chapter 20, verse 4 of Deuteronomy says this: "For the Lord your God is going with you. He will fight for you against your enemies, and he will give you victory." Friends, I don't know where you are today, but I hope you're found in a place that makes sense. Even though it's tough, even though the turmoil is crazy, even though it's getting harder and harder, that you are finding yourself leaning into the victory of Jesus, leaning into an eternity that sets you beyond the temporary pleasures of life and gives you a better perspective. It helps you see it. If you are experiencing victory, though, here's my challenge for you. Share the victory with someone this week. Jesus died so that we could have life, not fear and doubt. We have the ability, as followers of Jesus of Nazareth, easy for me to say, as followers of Jesus of Nazareth, to live victoriously. Friends, I hope that you are filled with this power and this presence. I hope that there's something different about your life. Something looks different. You spark different. Your aura, your appearance, your everything looks different. And that Jesus is doing something amazing with you, that you might share it and show it to the rest of the world. This week, we're going to keep going with these biblical truths, this real good biblical teaching, things that we need to learn from the Bible that tell us about who we are and about who God is. And so we're going to lean into what it means to be family, community, together. Like, I've shortened it to community for the bulletin, but what does it mean to be community? What does it mean to be family? Jesus has a definition for us in Mark, and it's just incredible, and I hope you'll be able to join us. We're going to be in Maplewood at 9 a.m. We will be in DeGraff at Cornerstone Fellowship at 10:30 a.m. You are welcome to join us at either one of those locations. You can follow us online. Cornerstone, you'll have to get the message on Monday morning. Maplewood, we do live at 9:30-ish before we go live. So yeah, you're welcome to find us somewhere, some way, somehow. And I hope that you'll join us. And I hope that you'll experience what is happening in our lives as we rely on this community of believers to keep things close. If you're with me, join me in this victory prayer. Jesus, you are my victory. I claim you today over every area of my life. For the places I feel confident in, thank you for giving me that confidence. For the places where I feel absolutely defeated, thank you for the future victories that I am going to have in you. I cannot do this on my own. I cannot defeat the enemy or sin. I cannot live a perfect life. This is why you have already done this for me. In your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen. Whoa, friends, I hope that you really powerfully stepped into that prayer. I hope that you powerfully grabbed a hold of what it is that Jesus is providing for us, and that we can live victorious. We can live in victory. We can live ahead of our doubts and our fears. We can face trouble tomorrow and today because we are assured victory in Jesus. Friends, have a great, great rest of your week. I love you all very much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.